I administer the world's largest and most successful civilian intelligence gathering operation in the world, which makes me privy to an awful lot of information that none of you will ever see. And there's so much of it, I can never present it in a form that you would be able to look at it and digest it.
Welcome back to Gabbar-Alahah's book collection and review, where I, Gabbar-Alahah, gives you an inside look at my 200+ book collection. In this video, we will be reviewing the book Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. It was published in 1991 by Light Technology Publishing, and right now you can get it for about $15 on Amazon. All right, so this is what it says in the back of the book, everyone. Bill Cooper, former United States Naval Intelligence Briefing Team member, reveals information that remains hidden from the public eye. This information has been kept in top secret government files since the 1940s. His audiences hear the truth unfold as he writes about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the war on drugs.
In a 1971 speech to Congress, President Richard Nixon called drug abuse America's public enemy #1. In the same speech, he declared war on drug addiction, and since then, the war on drugs has been a controversial policy issue for the United States. After 4 decades, we want to know, did the war on drugs work? Well, in the last 44 years, Nixon's connection between crime and drugs has had far-reaching consequences, particularly in terms of race. Human Rights Watch has reported that in the 70s, African Americans in the U.S. were already being overrepresented in drug arrests, with twice as many arrests as Caucasians. But since the war on drugs began, African Americans have been arrested for drug offenses at 5 times the rate of white offenders. And yet, on average, Caucasians commit more drug crimes.
The secret government.
And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
And UFOs.
75 years ago today, the UFO era came to Nevada in a dramatic way. A military pilot flying north of Lake Mead had a close encounter with an unusual formation. It happened on the afternoon of June 28, 1947. The pilot saw a group of 5 or 6 white circular objects flying in a tight formation and traveling at about 285 miles per hour. This came just 4 days after a more famous sighting over Mount Rainier in Washington State. That is the case credited with starting the flying saucer craze that swept across the country in June of 1947. Author Preston Dennett says the military tried to explain away the Lake Mead incident, but
they were in a triangular formation and much closer than regulations allow. So this clearly was unusual from the get-go, and as they observed it, they saw that these were not planes at all, moving really fast, and they ended up reporting this officially. And I believe there's only 4 cases that actually were declared unidentified by Blue Book.
Bill is a lucid, rational, and powerful speaker whose intent is to inform and to empower his audience. Standing room only is normal. His presentation and information transcend partisan affiliations as he clearly addresses issues in a way that has a striking impact on listeners of all backgrounds and interests. He has spoken to many groups throughout the United States and has appeared regularly on many many radio talk shows and on television. In 1988, Bill decided to talk due to events then taking place worldwide, events which he had seen plans for back in the early 70s. Since Bill has been talking, he has correctly predicted the lowering of the Iron Curtain, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the invasion of Panama. All of Bill's predictions were on record well before the events occurred. Bill is not a psychic. His information comes from top secret documents that he read while with the intelligence briefing team and from 17 years of thorough research. Bill Cooper is the world's leading expert on UFOs. Billy Goodman, KVEG, Las Vegas. The only man in America who has all the pieces to the puzzle that has troubled so many for so long. Anthony Hilder, Radio Free America. William Cooper may be one of America's greatest heroes, and this story may be the biggest story in the history of the world. Mills Crenshaw, K-Talk, Salt Lake City. Like it or not, everything is changing. The result will be the most wonderful experience in the history of man, or the most horrible enslavement that you can imagine. Be active or abdicate. The future is in your hands. William Cooper, October 24th, 1989. The thickness of the pages in this book are actually pretty decent. However, the print quality does suffer a problem whenever you try to read it for legibility. This is because of the government documents that are photocopied into the book. Sometimes they do come out blurred, or sometimes they didn't tone correctly onto the pages. So it does provide some difficulty reading some of the documents that are contained within the book. So I don't want to give away too much of the book, you guys, but what I do want to focus on is chapter 17, titled Documentation, U.S. Army Intelligence Connection with Satanic Church. The Satanic Church specifically that this book is making its connection with in regards to the U.S. Army intelligence is actually known as the Temple of Set. The Temple of Set was founded by Michael A. Aquino, a U.S. Army officer who specialized in psychological warfare and later became lieutenant in military intelligence. All right, so here are the documents from chapter 17. This book has been very popular among UFO groups and militia groups. In 1997, British publication The Guardian described this book as the manifesto of the militia movement. On November 25th, 2001, author William Cooper was fatally shot in his home in Arizona by deputy sheriffs. Now, I've had this book for a very long time. So first, what I would like to say is it's books like this that actually helped me in my journey in the path of becoming an Israelite. I won't say that every single detail in this book is true, but there is a lot of good information in this book if you are a truth seeker and want to know more about what's going on in the world. By the way, if you're looking to get the book, The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, you don't have to get that as a separate book because it's already contained within this book and chapter 15. If you would like a free PDF version of this book, please send me an email, let me know. If you have a book that you would like to see featured or reviewed, please send me an email, which is located in the description box. With that being said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am Gabbar-Alahah, and Shalom.